So Miron is the new male tiger that arrived at Knowsley on the 20th of December. He came from Copenhagen Zoo in Denmark. He is 5 years old, so he's 190-ish kilos, and he's just got quite a big build, so he's quite strong, he's quite muscular. His recall's really quite good, so if you give him a shout, he'll generally come over. He's got really nice temperament, he's really docile, and he is actually really quite playful, so if you hang things up, he'll interact with them really well. If you give him some new smells, he loves that as well. Arrived, he unloaded really well. He spent the first couple of days just in his den, just getting used to all the new sort of smells and just things that were going on around him and all the sounds that he'd never heard before. And within the first 2 weeks, he was happy coming in and out of his dens. Obviously, we've got a different setup here than he was used to, so we had to get used to new tunnels, new slides, all the things that go on around here. So we've got these big windows, and he's settled in really well. We wanted to call Miron in today just to do a bit of training with him, just to get a good look at him. It's basically, we've always got a mesh fence or a den wall between us and the tiger. We never enter the same space as them. So in order to get a nice look at them and to make sure we've got a good relationship with them, so that if we ever do need to get them in or move them around, he's quite responsive to us. So to do that, we use positive reinforcement training. So we use a target stick, which is just a little stick with a little red ball at the end, and a clicker, which is the bridge between that stick, which is sort of the cue for him to come over. And then we give him a reward, and today we were using a bit of liver, I think it was, which is quite tasty for him, I think. So we'll bring him over and safely close some slides behind him, and then we can move him into the weighbridge. The weighbridge is basically, it's sort of like a dead-ended tunnel, so the scales are on the bottom. We can call him in and back him out 2 or 3 times just to make sure that the weight is accurate. So we'll take him in for the first one, station him on there, make sure he got all 4 feet are on there and he's sort of in the middle of the weigh scale, and then you can get your weight reading. You can take him back out again, bring him back in, and then just sort of take an average from those just to make sure you've got a good reading. Obviously, when they're down and stuff, you can get a good look at their sort of overall body condition. We can see their head, we can see their back, but you can't see anything that's going on underneath. So a really good behaviour that we've trained into not just Miron but the girls as well is that you can get them to present their torso. So if you sort of bring your target stick up high, they'll sort of follow that because they're used to, basically if they touch their nose on that, that's when they get their click and their reward. So if you sort of just extend that arm up, that's where their nose will follow, and so you can reward them up there, keep them feeding there, and then that way, when they're like this, you can get a good eye all on their underbelly. You can have a look at their pads all on the things, you can check out their claws, and it's just another way just to check on them. People who've been to Knowsley for a couple of years now, or even recently, will know that we did have 2 sisters in our tiger trail. Cinder is still on the tiger trail, so you'll still see her. Vera, however, has moved up to an enclosure up on the safari drive. We've had to do that just because of the way tigers are. They're solitary animals. If you try and introduce a male to a female and there's 2 presents, it can just lead to a lot of aggression and a lot of things that you don't want to encourage, really. Introduction, especially for tigers and males and females and things, is going to take quite a long time, so you need to sort of think about what you're doing and take your time with it. So we'll have them separate as they are for now for quite a while. Then we'll probably do a mesh introduction, so you'll have sort of just one fence between them, whereas they can still see each other fully through that, and they can get all the smells and things. We can switch paddocks with them for a bit, so one can go on one side and one can be in the other, and explore the other's smells and things and make sure everyone knows where everything is in each paddock. The way where we can tell him apart from our other tigers and stuff is that he's just so much bigger. Every tiger has different markings, so you'll get used to like the different markings that different individuals have, and his in particular above his eyes is like a love heart shape. So basically it's like white all around his eyes and then these nice little markings above it. He also sticks his tongue out when he's sort of concentrating or he's moving from one area to another, so you'll see like a little tongue poking out, which is quite funny. But other than that, he just looks very majestic and very much like an apex predator should. He's just big and he's muscular.